Archangel Michael says, "My beloved child, hold your breath because the air around you is turning electric and the next step in your story arrives without permission. A presence moves like a headline before it is printed and your name is on it in bold clarity. Every second feels louder because something rare and unfiltered is coming straight toward you. This is viral news about you in the next 24 hours and it refuses to wait for the usual introductions. A famous person from America is about to break every rule to reach you for something only you can receive. The hush before impact is the loudest sound in the room and you feel it already in your chest. There is movement behind doors that were always closed for ordinary people and your signal just cut through the static like a blade gliding through silk. A decision has been made by someone who usually lets others decide for them and that pattern ends right now. Their focus has narrowed to a single point and that point is you. The city does not know it yet, but a private intention has become an unstoppable directive that bends schedules and signatures to its will. Protocols pause because desire carries more weight than procedure today. The messenger is already halfway to your name and nothing turns them back. Type Amen 333 to claim this blessing now and anchor it in your life. Words become keys when they are written with certainty and you hold that key in your hands. Seal it with your own voice and feel the door unlock inside your spirit. The person coming toward you moves inside circles that usually stay gated and guarded and they are stepping across the line without looking down. Their team will not understand at first because this choice does not fit the usual playbook. Even so, the signal stands because the heart outranks the handbook tonight. Stay with me until the end and make sure you subscribe and share so this story finds the ones who are meant to be ready beside you. Your support turns a single moment into a wave that carries more than one life. Your presence here becomes part of how the arrival lands clean and strong. Comment I receive and let your handwriting on the screen become the first signature of this new chapter. Your words create traction under your feet and momentum loves bold confirmation. A path appears each time you declare it and you are declaring it now. The approach begins with a call that refuses to route through an assistant and the number that lights your phone feels like the first ray after a storm. They speak like someone who already decided the outcome and wants logistics to catch up. Your name travels through a speaker and the room around you changes temperature. Their management whispers about optics and order, but the world has learned that real desire does not ask for optics and order before it moves. The map on the wall gets redrawn with a single stroke and your city becomes the center point. Drivers get lined up and doors get opened that never opened for anyone without a pass. Paperwork usually waits for weeks, but this time the ink dries before the page even lands on the desk. Every delay that used to slow things down melts like frost under a steady sun. You feel the calendar bending toward you with a warmth that refuses to fade. Archangel Michael says, the right moment is no longer a projection on a far wall because it is entering the room and taking a seat beside you. Courage presses its palm to your shoulder and steady breath fills your chest like a tide that knows the shore by heart. The line between later and now dissolves the way a flame dissolves darkness. There is a car that does not idle for anyone, and tonight it idles for you. There is a door that does not open for unknown faces, and now it opens because your name is the password. There is an elevator that usually needs layers of clearance, and your presence becomes the highest level of clearance. Your story has searched for a stage that fits its true size and the stage has finally found you back. The city lights begin to feel like candles set out for a personal ceremony. You step forward and the floor becomes a drum that answers your footsteps with rhythm. Your timeline catches fire in the gentlest way and the sparks write messages across the minutes. The minutes do not crumble under pressure because they have been waiting for your yes. That yes is your crown and it sits perfectly on your head. Comment it is mine and let the echo bounce through every corridor that once kept you out. The echo becomes your credential and your credential becomes your entry. The circle that once closed without you now widens because your name is the reason it widens. The famous person crosses continents the way certainty crosses doubt and the crossing completes without friction. Their reasons are simple because truth is simple when it finally steps forward. Your energy pulled this thread and now the entire garment reveals a brand new pattern. Security measures bow to clarity because clarity has its own authority. Assistants type messages that try to slow the pace, but the send button loses its power to the heartbeat that leads. Every thought that once hesitated now advances with calm resolve. You will notice small confirmations flowing into your day like text lines that appear one by one. A time stamp will match a wish you made in silence and you will feel the alignment click. The click will sound like a lock turning and a room opening that belongs to you. A handwritten note sits on a seat reserved for you and the ink looks freshly alive. The edges of the paper curl in a way that suggests warmth rather than haste. Your name at the top carries gravity like a planet carries its moons. The conversation you enter will not be crowded because this moment prefers focus over noise. Eyes will meet in a recognition that needs no translation. You will breathe easier because the air will agree with your lungs and your lungs will agree with your destiny. Comment "I am ready" and let that line set the tone for the room you are about to walk into. Your readiness becomes a magnet that organizes everything in your favor. The magnet draws outcomes that used to drift and gives them a home under your name. Archangel Michael says, "You are authorized to receive what matches your stature and your stature just expanded." The expansion does not demand effort because it is the most natural movement of your life today. Your calm becomes the loudest statement in any space you enter. In the next 24 hours the world will seem to run on your internal clock and your internal clock will be right on time. Morning will carry a taste of celebration and even the sound of traffic will feel harmonious. Afternoon will place the right faces in your path without strain and evening will close like a velvet curtain after a triumphant performance. The message arriving to you will be clear and direct and it will respect your value. The agreement sealed under your name will fit like a tailored garment and nothing will pinch or pull. Your reflection will look back at you with gratitude that feels like sunrise. Your phone will carry proof in the exact arrangement you imagined on your best days and those days are now. Your steps will land in sync with doors sliding open and those doors will not slide shut after you pass. Your signature will sit on the page like a compass that knows where north lives. Share this message with someone who needs the same alignment and invite them to stand beside you in this brightness. Subscribe so the next wave finds you early and finds you steady. Your yes today writes the welcome sign for everything that knows your name tomorrow. There is no push against the grain now because the grain itself runs in your direction. There is no noise that can drown your certainty because certainty speaks in tones deeper than noise. There is no delay that can outlast your appointment because your appointment arrived before the clock was built. The person moving toward you has wealth that is not only numbers and the wealth will show up as access, time, and warm introductions. You will be treated as more than a meeting because you are the reason for the trip. Respect will not be negotiated because it will be the floor you stand on. Your environment will shift in small physical ways that show big spiritual agreement and you will notice the ease. A chair will feel like it was molded for your back and a path will feel like it was designed for your stride. The lighting will frame your face as if the space itself wants you to be seen. Comment "I align" and let your alignment become the river that carries this moment to the right shore. The river will not rush or stall because grace sets the pace. Your pace will feel like music that stays in tune from first note to final note. You will observe the old rulebook closing itself without conflict and a new rulebook opening without noise. The first chapter begins with your name and the second chapter continues with your signature. Every page you turn will feel like a promise that kept itself. You agree to receive in full and that agreement settles on your shoulders like a cloak that fits perfectly. Your voice remains calm because calm is your power tonight. Your eyes stay clear because clarity is the language of every outcome that is already yours. If anyone around you wonders how this happened, let them see the way integrity attracts its own reflection. Let them notice that your consistency wrote the invitation long before the envelope arrived. Let them witness how patience waits like a king and welcomes like a friend. Your preparation has been quiet but thorough and today it becomes visible without strain. Nothing about you will feel out of place because the place was shaped for your presence. Lights will feel soft, surfaces will feel inviting, and the path ahead will feel inevitable. The vehicle that carries your visitor moves without friction and glides through every light with ease. The entrance finally opens without hesitation and the room accepts you as its rightful center. A new definition of normal begins the moment you step inside. Your life gently tilts toward winds that were always on your timeline and now they are visible to everyone. Your touch turns cold doors warm and your presence turns unfamiliar spaces friendly. The future greets you early and hands you the pen. Comment "I claim my chapter" and press send with certainty in your chest. Your words become a stamp that no gatekeeper can ignore. Your certainty becomes a lamp that refuses to go out. The night closes like a velvet curtain and the morning lifts like a silver screen and your name remains in bright letters. The credits roll on the old season and the first scene of the new season begins with a steady heartbeat. You are centered in your own story and the story finally respects your center. Your steps are measured but confident and each step places you on ground that recognizes your print. Your name becomes a frequency and everything that belongs to you tunes itself to match. Even the silence around you carries approval that feels solid and kind. The famous person smiles like someone who recognizes a rare match and relief replaces pressure in their posture. They speak your name again and the sound lands like a seal pressed into wax. The seal says completed and welcomed and secured. Share this message so the momentum multiplies and others rise beside you in the same light. Subscribe now because the stream that found you today knows the way to you tomorrow. Your presence here makes you a lighthouse for the ones who will need this signal next. The next time you look at your calendar you will feel space where strain used to sit and that space will invite new victories. Your phone will hold messages that lift rather than weigh down and those messages will arrive at perfect times. Your mirror will tell the truth and the truth will say ready and worthy and chosen. Comment "I am chosen" and sign your name under those words with pride. Your signature is the green light and the road reads it like a command. Every mile ahead of you starts listening for your footsteps. As the day completes its circle, the outcome sits beside you like a friend who arrived right on time and intends to stay. Your room holds a different temperature because your life just took a gentle turn toward more. Your heart holds a different rhythm because peace settled in and decided to remain. Your story belongs to you and you hold it with two steady hands and an open spirit. The room, the city, and the sky agree and the agreement will keep repeating until it becomes your background music. You rest while the blessing stands guard and the blessing does not blink. This is the moment you waited for and now it is the moment that waits for you to step and receive. You step without rush and receive without apology and everything around you smiles. The chapter turns and the page does not stick because it was always meant to turn for you. Comment "It is done" and feel the echo settle like gold dust on your shoulders. Share and subscribe so the current stays strong around you and inside you. Walk forward knowing the rulebook changed because your name entered the room and stayed. My beloved child, the night turns like a key and every click pulls the moment closer to you. Footsteps you cannot hear are still arranging your tomorrow with precise intention. The air is tight with promise and softness at the same time. The city hums as if it already received the memo about your name. Curtains move without wind, and that small shift tells you the route is clear. The hour chooses you like a spotlight that knows exactly where to land. A private jet writes a silver line across the dark, and that line points at your horizon. Phones vibrate in quiet rooms where decisions usually take hours, yet this one takes seconds. The speed feels natural because alignment erases drag. An address that rarely leaves closed calendars opens on a clean page. Your initials sit beside it as if they were always meant to be there. Distance loses its authority because purpose took the wheel. Type Amen 444 to lock in this phase and ground it under your feet. Your words carry the weight of green lights and open lanes. Your confirmation anchors the route like a lighthouse that never blinks. A door known for saying no softens into a yes that does not even need a voice. The hallway beyond it smells like fresh beginnings and new leather. Every step you take sounds like a stamp of approval. Comment: I receive the arrival, and let your screen become the first signature of the outcome. You are not reaching for fog because the shape is already solid. You are not hoping in the dark because the room is already lit. The car that collects you glides rather than drives, and the city moves out of its way without force. Even the lights at the intersection seem to understand timing. The road escorts you like a velvet rope laid down in front of your stride. Inside a quiet suite, a folder waits with your name embossed in calm gold. Paper feels warm to the touch because the decision inside it is alive. Your eyes read lines that feel like they were written by your future self. Old rules fall off like tags that never fit your garment. New rules stand up like friends who always knew your size. The room agrees with you, and the agreement is gentle and strong. Type Amen 777 to seal the access and let it stay yours without effort. Your yes is the silent engine that never stalls. Your certainty is the soft thunder that moves crowds without noise. The famous person arrives with a calm that fills the space rather than competes with it. Their presence is not loud because it does not need to be loud to be undeniable. Their eyes hold relief because the search they carried now has an answer. They place a simple item on the table, and that simplicity is powerful. A card with a direct line, a badge without expiry, a pass that upgrades every door in an instant. The gesture is clear and the meaning is generous. Comment: I am ready for the table, and let those words set your chair to the perfect height. Your posture finds its natural balance in this new gravity. Your voice carries ease because the room is built for your tone. A calendar that once behaved like a puzzle becomes a path you can walk in a straight line. Meetings rearrange themselves to honor your pace. The day shapes itself around your presence like clay around a flawless mold. Your phone lights up with messages that sound like brass keys and soft invitations. Every name that appears respects your time and your value. Every plan that forms carries the warmth of mutual choice. Type Amen 888 to welcome aligned support and aligned timing. Helpers you did not know you had reveal themselves quietly. Doors you forgot you knocked on open without a sound. The conversation turns to what you want rather than what you can get. The difference is subtle on paper and undeniable in your body. Power sits down beside you like a friend, not a stranger. You speak 3 clear sentences, and each one plants a flag in new ground. The flags do not wave to be seen because they were seen the moment they were placed. The ground does not resist because it recognizes your name. Comment I claim the ground and let your declaration echo through unseen corridors. The echo finds elevators you will enter in coming days. The elevators will rise without stopping on floors that are not yours. The rule breaker smiles because the mission completed itself without drama. Their team breathes out because the result feels inevitable in the best way. The room brightens in a way that will look normal in photos and unforgettable to those who were present. You leave with less weight than you arrived with and more substance than you carried. Your steps sound like a score that only plays for those who move with purpose. The hallway leads to fresh air that tastes like a clean promise. Type Amen 111 to keep the clarity steady inside your chest. Clarity becomes your default rather than your visitor. Ease becomes your rhythm rather than your exception. The city greets you like a host who knows your preferences. Traffic behaves like choreography and every turn lines up without effort. Even the sky seems arranged for a soft victory glow. Share this message to multiply the flow that just found you. Subscribe so the next wave meets you at the shoreline instead of the middle of the sea. Your presence keeps this channel bright and the brightness keeps guiding you. Back at your space, small changes prove the big shift. A chair fits better, a window seems wider, a clock runs friendlier. Peace sits in the room like a beautiful anchor. Comment it is mine already and let your words settle the matter. Ownership moves from paper to breath and from breath to calendar. Calendar moves from hope to schedule. The next 24 hours continue to honor the appointment you just kept. Morning favors your requests and afternoon confirms them. Evening wraps the day like ribbon around a finished gift. The famous name becomes a steady contact rather than a distant headline. The connection feels human, warm, and precise. The promise evolves into pattern and the pattern becomes your new normal. Type Amen 999 to bless the pattern that supports your rise. New openings will recognize you before you introduce yourself. New rooms will seat you before you ask where to sit. You rest without worry because momentum stands guard. The path ahead glows just enough for each next step. Each step lands on ground that was waiting for your footprint. Comment I walk in favor and let that sentence choose your pace. Your pace respects your power and your power respects your peace. Nothing urgent needs to shout because everything aligned knows your address. The night closes like soft velvet again, but now it closes around a promise that already delivered. The morning opens like a door on quiet hinges, and the door opens into rooms that feel like home. Your story advances with calm certainty and generous light. Share and subscribe to keep the current flowing through you and through the ones you care about. The wave that lifted you is still moving and it welcomes those who stand beside you. Your signal remains bright and the rule breaker's choice becomes the first chapter of a lasting season.